Michelle Reinen joins us from Consumer Protection for some tips about August. That's hard to wrap your head around that it's August, Michelle.
It is hard to wrap your head around. This year is just flying by, but we need to stay on top of it because before you know it, we'll be at some other holiday and the scammers will be out trying to take advantage of everything, as they are probably trying to take advantage now of our relaxed, final lazy days of summer.
Well, we've touched on it during your monthly visits before about AI, and that's certainly a real deal. Maybe you could talk a little bit about knowing who you're talking to.
Exactly. That's somewhat of our theme this month. We don't always have a theme because we want to get the most current topics out to everyone as to what scammers are doing, but we've certainly noticed in a lot of the messaging that we have for this month that it's about knowing who you're talking to and knowing how scammers use different technology. And the first thing is artificial intelligence. How exactly is artificial intelligence, AI, being used by scammers to hide their identities and gain consumers' trust? And we've identified really, I think it's 4 true technologies or use of technologies to do that. The first being a chatbot, text generation, next image and video generation, deep fakes, and voice cloning. With the chatbot text generation, scams that involve direct messages or social media posts may use this text generation or chatbots. Scammers use them because it allows one scammer to target many people at the same time, and the AI has made them capable of dynamic conversation. So consumers should remember that whether they are texting, emailing, or speaking with a stranger on social media, there is a chance there isn't even a human on the other side of this conversation. It could likely just be a chatbot that they are engaging with.
That is scary. What about video and pictures and profile pictures and those kind of things?
Absolutely. So scammers use AI to create very convincing profile pictures or brief videos to enhance a fake social media account. This way, that reverse image search won't turn up any results. And we've talked about that being a tool that consumers can use to identify that they're engaged with a scam. But now that they've created this new method, it makes that tool obsolete in some ways in helping with the identification. So some scammers use the artificial intelligence to create a misleading image or video of a product they're selling online in order to make it look higher quality or more appealing than it really is. So remember, even if a photo or video looks real, more verification is going to be required to really give you confidence and boost that it is real.
Can you explain what deep fake videos are?
I can try. A deep fake, it's specialized technology to replace a person's face in a video with a different face. And it can be used by a scammer to trick individuals into believing they're seeing someone familiar or trustworthy. So deep fakes have been used to copy a celebrity's likeness and endorse an online product. So think a talking head overlay, if you will. But they can also be used to copy the face of someone that a consumer knows in real life, like a friend, a family member, a coworker, or even a boss, a supervisor. So some deep fakes can even work in real-time video calls and be those talking heads where it's just that image you know and trust talking at you, but that's not who's really there generating the information.
Voice cloning, that's what always comes up. You know, all of us get these potential spam calls, and we dare not say anything on those calls, do we?
No, you dare not. So this is when a consumer wants to copy the voice of a specific person. They use technology called voice cloning technology, and it takes just a few seconds of audio of a person's voice, and scammers can run it through this AI program and convert that voice to sound like the cloned voice or make that cloned voice read written text. Here, consumers need to have that awareness that an audio of a person's voice can be downloaded off social media or captured during a phone call and then used to trick friends and family members into taking action. I mean, again, remember, it can be programmed to read a script so they can really navigate an entire conversation with just a few seconds of that original audio file. Wow. It can be very hard to detect over a phone call, and when used in combination with a deep fake, that video technology where it looks like you're engaged in a video chat with someone, this can be very difficult to identify, and additional verification will be needed for consumers.
Moving on, Scam Spotlight, the targeted investment scam. What's up with that?
Well, we recently heard from a consumer that reported to the agency they'd been tricked into investing almost $40,000 in a fraudulent cryptocurrency by a scammer who impersonated the consumer's online course instructor and lost about $140,000 in total over the length of the scam. What happened specifically is that the consumer had taken a legitimate online class about how to effectively sell different products online. They were satisfied with the class and pleased when the instructor contacted them later via social media to check on their progress. What the consumer didn't know was that this wasn't really their instructor. It was a scammer impersonating that instructor. So this fake instructor offered to help the consumer invest in cryptocurrency. After investing through a platform secretly controlled by the scammer, the consumer couldn't withdraw any of their investments and was faced with constant obstacles, things like needing to pay to unlock their account. And after every problem was resolved, another problem occurred that required more payments. The consumer quit trying and stopped investing. But then months later, after things were quieted down for a bit, the consumer noticed the money in their investment account had increased to over $1 million. And it is possible that this number was really just fabricated by the scammer to just attract attention. But the consumer contacted that fake instructor again to retrieve the money in the account and was told it could be shipped to them in the form of physical bills. After another elaborate runaround involving a variety of fake people and businesses, the consumer had paid for numerous fake shipping and customs fees, fuel costs, taxes, and other miscellaneous costs to have the $1 million delivered to their home, but the money never arrived, and the consumer reported the scam to us. So here, and remember, all of this over the time added up to $140,000 for the length of this scam.
Oh, that's incredible. Is there a takeaway from this?
There is. I mean, what I described is a perfect example of what we call a pig butchering scam, where that scammer spends a lot of time and resources trying to convince an individual to invest in a fraudulent scheme and then takes off with their money. But again, it's a lot of time because they try to build up the amount of money that you're investing and paying to them. So be skeptical about the too good to be true investment opportunities, even if they appear to come from someone that you know and trust. Remember, those online identities can be easily faked by scammers who know how to find information about individuals and tailor these schemes specifically to an individual. If you're faced with an offer and you're getting the runaround, please become suspicious and check into things. Stop investing, stop paying fees, talk to friends and family member about the situation. But it's always a good idea to do all of that before you invest at the beginning, and just take your time to try and navigate the space and not be lured in by that too good to be true opportunity.
What about scam texts offering Amazon refunds? That's been in the news lately.
This has been in the national news. This is a national effort to get the word out that scammers are pretending to be Amazon. They're sending texts to consumers claiming there's a problem with a recent purchase they made, and that they're eligible for a refund. The texts claim a routine quality inspection was conducted by Amazon, and it found an item that had recently been purchased didn't meet the company's standards and has been recalled, or it faces another problem. And then it states that consumers don't even need to return the item. Getting their money back is as simple as clicking a link and filling out their information. But of course, this link leads to a fake website meant to collect consumers' information as part of a phishing scam. And then this could really just, put consumers at risk of having their money or their identity stolen. So do not click on this link if you get such a text message.
How do we see those red flags that aren't Amazon?
Well, the first thing is try to take a minute and remember that Amazon doesn't send unsolicited texts offering refunds. They're going to communicate with you through your account, and likely it would just be an auto email that you receive as you get those notifications through your account. Stop when you get these messages and don't click links. Log in as you normally would to your Amazon account to check to see if you have any existing recalls, as they do post and notice to consumers who purchase items that have been recalled. And then if you do need to make contact with Amazon, use publicly available information that you can verify is legitimate off of their official website or app, or again, use the features once you've logged into your account as you normally would, not through a generated message that you receive.
New job scam, boss imposters. What would you like to say about that?
Well, just think about and remember how we talked about those deep fakes can often be a coworker or a boss. So this kind of falls in this artificial intelligence category, but isn't on point all the way. So after landing a new job, some consumers can be really eager to share that good news on social media, but the warning is doing so could really put you at risk of that boss imposter scam. What happens here is soon after getting hired, and possibly even before individuals start their new job, we've seen that these recently hired employees are contacted by their, quote, new boss. The boss has this urgent request, but is secretly just a scammer impersonating the employer's real boss or supervisor. The messages have been sent by text, email, and even social media. And they've been very simple. They can say things like, hi, this is so-and-so. Text me back when you get a chance. Or they can be very formal emails, including a real-looking signature matching the company's format and, of course, the real boss's name and title. So this fake boss asks the employee to purchase gift cards and provide the card numbers to the company, or it asks for private financial or personally identifiable information needed to confirm and finalize employment. What's happening here is that the scammer is relying on this new employee being unfamiliar with the new workplace, that they're going to be very eager to please the boss, and they'll be unlikely to ask questions even if the request sounds suspicious. So we've seen some people being taken advantage of these situations, and we want to get the word out because we are seeing this across the nation, impacting those consumers who are sharing that good news about their new employment.
How can consumers avoid the boss imposter scam?
Well, remember a few things, or tips, if you will. Only scammers will ask new employees to send gift cards. That's not normal process, especially for a new employee. Gift cards are really just for giving as gifts. They're not meant for payment, and you won't have access to financial accounts with the company to make those purchases on behalf of the company as a new employee. Don't share private information if the request is unexpected or unusual. As a new employee, you're likely going to have to provide Social Security information and maybe a bank account for direct deposit of your paycheck. But that's not going to be asked for through an unsecured message or payment or platform or a text message after hours. That will likely be during your first week of employment. Highly likely that it will be with a personal contact or interaction. So be cautious there and pay attention to how contact is initiated. Consider if it's unusual for a new boss to reach out after hours, or to a personal email account or social media account versus a professional or an employer-managed one. And then always pause, investigate, verify things. And because this is a new job, you're going to want to right off the bat follow workplace policies and procedures. So consider that in the type of request you're being asked to fulfill, and check out what those policies and procedures are before taking action.
Recently, in the news across the state of Wisconsin, some counties have been sending out alerts that consumers are getting some reminders about, taxes or different things like that, and it actually didn't come from them. There's always something to be aware of, isn't there?
There is. We have a number of different examples in our state where the municipal governments are being impersonated and those email messages are going out. It could be, as you mentioned, for property taxes. It could be messages about permits that you, quote, applied for. But think through, did you even apply for a permit? Why are you having to pay the permit fee to upgrade your furnace or something if it's nothing you've even applied for? And they're doing imposter email extensions that could look very close to the legitimate thing. They may throw the word city in front of the municipal name, whereas that may not always be used. So do that verification and don't respond to those email messages. Use your own information to contact the municipal officials to find out if things are legitimate.
As I've often said, if some of these people that are in the weeds trying to scam, if they would put that to good use and do some positive things, what a better world this would be, right?
Oh, no one's going to disagree with that. But in the meantime, while they are scheming, if people have questions, please reach out to DADCAP, the Bureau of Consumer Protection. You can call the hotline at 1-800-422-7128 or go to our website at datcp.wi.gov.
Always good stuff, Michelle. I guess we'll talk to you, I'm sorry to say, in September. My goodness, how fast the year's going.
That's right. It's coming quick, but I will welcome the call and we'll continue our conversation.
All right. We'll be sipping some pumpkin spice latte or something like that by then.
Perfect.
All right. Thank you so much for your expertise, Michelle.
Thank you. You have a great day.
Michelle Reinen joining us, Administrator for Division of Trade and Consumer Protection, Wisconsin Department of Agriculture, Trade and Consumer Protection, for our monthly visit.